I saw a creator, Muskies, do the new BookTube challenge. And since I am new to BookTube, I wanted to answer the questions for myself and let you get to know a little bit more about me. I hope you like the change of setup. I only did 2 videos with a different setup, but I'm really liking this and I am going to try to dive more into YouTube. So my name is Emma. I go by Emma Reads 911 on the internet. You can find me at all the places with that handle. And I am an avid reader and I'm very excited to be joining the BookTube space. Why I started this channel is because of the TikTok ban. I wanted to continue to have an outlet to share my reviews, my thoughts about different books, and connect with other avid readers. So I wanted to expand over into YouTube and kind of see what this is all about. It's been a long time since I have actively used YouTube. I've definitely been a passive viewer in the past, never a creator before, so excited to be here and try this out. Some of the fun and unique things that I can bring to BookTube are going to be my wide array of genres that I like to read. Behind me, you'll see fantasy and romance. I also read a lot of literature, like lit fic. I do like to dabble in classics. I'm trying to grow my classics knowledge. I read a ton of horror, thriller. I'm really into like the weird girl lit fic type of stuff lately. And I try to make sure that I'm sharing a wide variety of reviews. I'm also a pet mom. I have no kids. I am somewhat of a Disney adult and I have just dabbled in sourdough baking, so I like to just kind of combine all the things that I love on my channel or on my posts so that I can be relatable and we can talk books. I think one of the things that I'm most excited for with this channel is the option to do longer form content. Initially, that really intimidated me, but I also do find myself talking on and on in my book reviews or my TikTok videos that I make. And so I think that not having the time constraint is going to be really fun for me. I'm also just like looking to continue to develop my content creation skills as well as the way that I can articulate my thoughts. Why I love reading, I mean, it goes all the way back to my mom and my dad and the way that I was raised, all the way back to preschool and kindergarten. I remember being a very early advanced reader, and I just fell in love with the ability to escape into other worlds and to learn from other characters. I was raised an only child, so I was able to connect with the characters in the books as I grew up and really found friendships and relationships with characters. And I continue to feel that way now into adulthood. I feel like being a reader has made me more empathetic. It's made me smarter in a lot of ways. It has made me have a really wide worldview and I'm open to a lot of things. And I really give credit to all the different authors and stories that are told because I think you've really shaped me as a person who really values other people and empathy above all. For what book or series got me into reading, I mean, I definitely contribute a lot of my passion for reading to Harry Potter. I remember vividly my mom buying me the box set of the first 4 books when I was in 2nd grade and being told that I was too young to read those books by like the school librarian or the people who were like running the book fair, and sort of being like, challenge accepted. And my mom always did a good job of reading to me. I remember her reading Oliver Twist to me, but Harry Potter was really the first one that I can remember that I dived into myself and found so much relatability in the characters. I'm 100% a Hermione in a lot of ways. And so I really kind of feel like I grew up with those characters. I do not support J.K. Rowling or any of the crappy things that she thinks. So it is kind of hard to grapple with the fact that this series that in a lot of ways raised me is like tainted by the author. If I were able to ask my favorite booktubers questions, first of all, I would need to like pick a favorite booktuber. Right now, I'm really just following folks that I really love on TikTok. I'm following them over on this platform. So I don't know that we all have like the most experience with doing booktube and long form content, but one creator that I really love is Celine. And one question I would love to ask her is, how do you come up with such beautifully articulated reviews? The way that she speaks about the books that she reads it's almost poetic, and I admire that so much. We have very similar reading tastes, but I clearly do not have the articulatory skills that she does at this point, and that is just, I love to listen to her because it's just beautiful hearing her talk and describe the books she reads. As far as what challenges that I think will be the hardest to overcome with starting a booktube channel, I mean, really, I think it's going to be coming up with long form content ideas to start off. I am so in the habit of creating content for TikTok that coming up with ideas that I'm allowed to speak about longer, I think is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I'm really excited for that challenge, but I do think that's going to be a struggle for me. I have some ideas and they're going to be trends that have already been done before, but I want to put my take on them. When did I start reading? I think I mentioned earlier, I have memories of being in like pre-kindergarten and like preschool and meeting with my kindergarten teacher and reading and getting to read different books. I remember when my mom, we read If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, like through the local library. So it was always really a big part of my life. My parents were and still are avid readers. So really at a very early age, I definitely fell off the reading for fun train in college, like a lot of college kids do. I didn't study literature or anything like that, but I was really so overwhelmed and like involved with my studies and work and social life that I did not read as much for pleasure as I would have done in high school and growing up. And then I picked it back up after I graduated, had more free time in the evenings and things like that. And I have just absolutely revitalized my love for it. In 2024, I read 309 books. So I'm definitely a fast reader. I really prioritize it. And if I'm not cooking, not working, not spending quality time with my husband, my nose is in a book. The next question is, where do you read? I read literally anywhere. I'm definitely a Kindle reader. I will do audiobooks. I will read in whatever format that I can. I have this little chair in my office/library that I like to read in. But in our living room, we have one of those really big double-size fuzzy chairs that I just adore reading in because I can cuddle up with my dogs and read, and it's just like being tucked into a blanket. What kind of books I like to read? I really like to read everything. I'm probably predominantly a fantasy and horror reader, but I'm definitely trying to grow the genres that I read. I've got a lot of romance, a lot of literature fiction, like lit fic, contemporary lit fic. Like I said earlier, I really like weird girl lit fic, so things like Mona Awad, Ling Ling Wong, Sarah Rose Etter, stuff like that. I really am into those. And then the classics. I'm trying to make an effort to read classics, and I have morbid curiosity, so the nonfiction that I read tends to be in that direction. I'll read books about cults. I will read books about what happens when you donate your body to science, things like that. So I try to read very broadly, but I'm not like big into nonfiction as much. And the last question that I'm going to make up for myself for this challenge is, if I could recommend a book to anyone, what would it be? And in 2024, I found and fell in love with Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I don't know how you say his name. And that's honestly a book that I wish everyone in my life would read. I have gotten my mom to read it and a couple of other people. And I feel that this story, while it is like centered around a small town and a hockey team, it is so like transcendent of that. And I love it so much. Fredrik Backman's writing is absolutely stunning. So if I could get you to read any book that I've read, it's Fredrik Backman's Beartown.